Why your mortgage pre-approval might be worthless and how you can truly spot the difference. If you're shopping for a home right now and there's a good chance your pre-approval, it isn't even worth the paper that it's printed on. And I know this sounds harsh, but here's the harsh truth that most lenders are handing out pre-approval letters without doing the actual work to make sure that they're gonna close. And that means that when you find your dream home and you go under contract, that is when the real stress is gonna begin. Now today, I'm walking you through what a proper mortgage process should look like, and you can spot the difference between a lender who's setting you up for success and one who's setting you up for disaster. Now, before I get to it, I've been working in the mortgage lending space for years, and I've built my entire approach around one principle: transparency. I believe you deserve to understand exactly what is happening with your loan every step of the way with no surprises, no last minute denials, no wondering if everything is going to fall apart right before closing. My team and I are empathetic, we're patient, we're diligent, because we know this is probably one of the biggest financial decisions that you're ever gonna make, and we want to treat you and your money like it's our own. Let's talk about the mortgage process with somebody who genuinely has your back. All right, there's two ways that clients come to us and find us. There are typically two ways that most people start looking for a mortgage lender. You have option number one. They reach out with questions first. They want to understand how their income will be evaluated, whether their credit situation is going to be a problem, or if they can even afford the home that they're looking at. This is the approach I recommend because it gives us a chance to talk through a specific situation before you're emotionally invested in a property. And then number two, they fill out an application right away. Maybe they've done their research, they've watched our videos, they've read our articles, and they're ready to move forward. I mean, that's completely fine too, but I'm still going to get on the phone with you before we go any further. I want you to understand why this phone call is a non-negotiable in our business. A lender who gives a pre-approval without ever talking to you on the phone is doing you a complete disservice. I don't care how clean your application looks on paper, there's too many variables, there's too many guidelines, and there's too many ways that your income and assets can be interpreted. I'm just gonna give you a quick example. Let's say your application says you make $5,000 a month. Great, that's awesome. But how do you get paid? Is it hourly? Is it salary? Is it commission? Is it a combination of base pay, bonuses, and overtime? Because if it's commission, then we're gonna need a 2-year history. If it's a mix of base and bonus, and we have to average the bonus over 2 years, if it's hourly, that varies. There's specific rules for how we calculate that. I know that sounds crazy already. That's why we have to be careful of this. And the same goes for your assets. You might have $20,000 in an account, but if your down payment's $50,000, where's the rest of the money coming from? Are you getting a gift? Are you gonna pull it from retirement? Are you selling another property? I mean, these aren't just trick questions that I'm asking you. They're exact questions an underwriter will ask you, and I'd rather address them now when we don't have money on the line than when you're under contract at a later point. All right, what happens after you actually apply? Once your application is submitted, here's what happens on my end. I ask that every client text me or email me to confirm that it's been filled out. Why? Because technology is not perfect. Sometimes applications get routed to the wrong person. Sometimes people accidentally select the wrong lender. I want to make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. Remember, it's about transparency. From there, my team logs every single application and reviews it based on the state you're in and the complexity of your situation. If anything doesn't look straightforward, one of my licensed team members will handle it. If it's complex, I'm involved immediately. And then we do a really important thing. We give you that phone call. When we go through your application line by line, we verify that your income, your employment history, your assets, your debts. We ask about job changes, recent deposits, anything that might raise a red flag for an underwriter. And I promise you, this is not about making your life difficult. It's about making sure we have the structure to your loan correct from the start. Because here's what happens if we don't. You end up in a situation where the lender keeps asking for more documentation, more explanations, more paperwork. And you're sitting there thinking, why didn't they ask me for this 2 weeks ago? Or even worse, your loan might get denied. That's why we want to make sure we do that. Now, I know this is a lot of information, so stay with me because I'm about to explain the one thing that separates a solid pre-approval from a weak one, and it's something most lenders won't do. Here's the difference between my process and most other lenders. we fully underwrite every single pre-approval. That means we don't just glance at your application and look and says, man, the file looks good. We send your file to an actual underwriter, the person that is going to review your loan when you're under contract, and we get their approval before we ever issue your pre-approval. I know, it requires more work up front. Yes, it means that we're gonna ask for documentation than other lenders, but it also means that when you're under contract, you're not gonna be blindsided. I have seen so many situations where buyers work with a lender who gives them a quick pre-approval. They find a house, they go under contract, and the lender starts asking for things they should have asked from the very beginning. Tax returns they didn't know about, letters of explanations for deposits, proof of employment gaps. And sometimes if the information's not collected right, the loan can be denied. That's not gonna happen with us. We do the hard work up front so that you can move forward through the contract period with confidence. Once you're fully underwritten and we get on that phone call and we get that conversation dialed in, it usually takes about 30 minutes depending on your situation, but we're gonna cover everything. Transparency is the word. We're gonna talk about closing costs, what you're gonna pay, what's negotiable, what you need to shop for, what your monthly payment looks like to make sure you're comfortable with it. We're gonna talk through your debt to income ratios and how the purchase will affect your overall financial picture. If you're looking at specific properties, we can pull them up together and I'll just walk you through and tell you what to watch out for. Maybe the property taxes are higher in one city than expected. Maybe there's an HOA fee you didn't know about that's gonna impact your budget. Maybe the home needs a little bit of work and you should factor that into your offer. Think of this as having a friend who's been in the industry for years sitting next to you and giving you honest advice, because that's exactly what I'm gonna be doing for you. I'm not just your lender, I'm your advocate. I'm on your team. Now, if you don't have a real estate agent yet, I am happy to connect you with someone strong. And no, I don't get paid for referrals. I do it because I want you working with someone who's going to help you find a home quickly and negotiate effectively. Here's something I've noticed. Clients who work with a strong agent find homes within 60 days. Clients who work with a weak agent can spend 6, 7, 8 months looking, and they get frustrated every single time. The right agents make all the difference. And if you're working with someone who isn't serving you, I'll tell you, because I'd rather have an honest conversation now than watch you waste months of your life searching for a house that you never actually find. I know you've been hanging in with me, we're almost done, but I want to make sure that you understand who this process is designed for, because it's not for every single person out there. Let me be really clear. Our process requires more work up front. We're going to ask for documentation. We're going to verify everything. We're going to fully underwrite your loan before you ever make an offer. If that sounds too much, completely fine. There's other lenders out there who's gonna give you a quick pre-approval without asking many questions at all. But here's who we're for. We're for the buyer who wants to make sure that they're solid before they ever have money on the line. We're here for the buyer who wants to move fast when they're under contract. We're for the buyer who doesn't want to wake up in the middle of the night and wonder, will my loan be denied? If that's you, then we're definitely the right fit. Okay, so what happens when you're under contract? Now, once you're under contract, you'll be working with our processors, Angelina and Phil, and they're gonna help you guide you through the final steps. They'll request any remaining documentation, coordinate with the title company to make sure that everything is on track for closing. And here's the absolute best part of the entire thing. Because we did the heavy lifting up front, this part of the process is extremely smooth. No surprises, no last minute requests, no stress. If something comes up, maybe the appraisal comes in lower than expected, or maybe you're having second thoughts about the property that you're going with, well, we're not gonna pressure you. We're gonna help you make the best decision for your situation. Because understand this, we're not here to close loans. We're here to help you make good financial decisions. Okay, so here's what you need to remember, okay? Lock in. A strong mortgage process starts with a phone call, not just an application. It includes full underwriting before you're ever under contract, and it's built around transparency so you know exactly where you are every step of the way. If your current lender isn't doing these things, it's worth asking why. Also, if you found this helpful, please leave a comment and let me know what questions you have about the mortgage process. And if you're ready to be pre-approved right away, then go ahead and reach out. I'll be happy to walk you through it. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe.